What's going on YouTube? This is TC, and I'm making this video just to show some of the things that are inside of the Atlas. It's a great tool to have when you're over the road. Me myself, I think it's absolutely necessary to have it. Um, One comes out every year. This is 2018, and I'll be getting me another one in 2019. But doesn't much change from year to year. But me myself, I just like to get one every year. But anyway, this is a Randy McNally, and there's other versions of it out there. But this one, I really like it, so that's the one that I go with. And we'll get right on to it, just showing you some of the things that is inside of the Atlas. Okay, on the first page, you have your table of contents, just letting you know what pages all of the different information is on. It goes on to have some tips about hazardous materials, hazmat identifiers, incident prevention and response, inspections for your tractor and trailer. You can use that for pre-trip, post-trip, whatnot. Information on the IFTA, International Fuel Tax Agreement. Your other motor carrier programs here is Mexican and Canadian regulations. Okay, also there's some numbers for the different states for road construction and conditions. If you need any information on that, if you're traveling to different states, you just want to know, you can call those numbers. Also some numbers for hotels and motels, area code guide here, state access policies, longer combination vehicles with the measurements and permits required, different comments, explanations on that. Okay, the national size and weight state provisions, sorry about that, national weight and size provisions, your National American Federal weight and size limits, your bridge formula table. Okay, here you have your weight and size limits. Okay, I'm just gonna pause for a second on this weight and size limits. This is one of the pages that I come back and I reference, every once in a while. It'll give you the different states. It'll give you how much you're allowed to have on your axles. I'm sorry about that, your steering axle, if you have a single axle. For your tandems, gross weight, the width, the height, and length for a straight trailer and semi. But every once in a while, I come back to just double check for my steers most of the time. But you can find that information out on this page. Real useful. Okay, state provincial contacts for vehicle registration, operating authority info, state police, the numbers, overweight and oversized information, hazardous material hotlines for hazardous materials, hazardous waste, radioactive, and for spill reporting. Okay, this section, I come to this pretty often also. It has a list of all of the states, and it specifies exactly where your low clearances are, where your permanent waste station inspection stations are, and your restricted routes. I mainly use this for low clearances and restricted routes for different places that I'm going. Whenever I'm doing my trip plan, I double check and make sure that I'm not going to any places where there's any low clearances, or I'm not traveling down a restricted route. GPS, they're not perfect. They'll sing you there sometimes, so you double check this by your GPS to make sure you don't get in a bind. Okay, moving right along. Sorry about that. Same information for Canada. And Mexico's in here somewhere. Okay, this right here is the contents in a legend, you know. But once you get over to the map portion of the atlas, you know, you'll see a bunch of symbols, and you may not know what all of them are. This page right here will let you know exactly, you know, what you're looking at when you're looking on the map portion of the atlas. Okay, this first page is just a picture of the continental United States. It has all of the major arteries, which consisted of interstates and state highways. It's just a real basic outlook. Just say, for instance, you want to go from point A to point B, you have sort of an idea of what interstates or major highways you need to take to get there. Okay, I'm not going to go through all of the states. I'm going to end it right here with Alabama. You know, so you'll have a big picture of the state here. You know, pretty big. Sometimes it's on one page, sometimes it takes up 2 pages. And usually on the outskirts of that, it'll show you a map of the different cities within that state. And you see a bunch of orange squiggly lines, and there's also, well, really the orange squiggly lines are highways that are accessible, you know, by CMV. So 9 times out of 10, you can get down most of these roads. You'll just have to double check in the front of the book to make sure there's no low clearances or none of these routes are restricted. But for the most part, if you see orange, it's safe for your truck to go down. You just have to dig a little deeper to make sure that, for weight purposes or whatnot, we can make it down there. At the top here is just a little guide showing you within the state to get from point A to point B, like from Birmingham to Chattanooga, Tennessee is 146 miles. Just a little quick reference. And right here, it just shows you the total mileage of the interstates, how long it is. I-10 runs through Alabama for 66 miles. I-20 runs for 215 miles, so on and so forth. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this video. I'm going to make a couple of other videos. I'll make one about trip planning. I'll make one about sliding tandems. At that point, I'll show some more things that you can use in the atlas, or how to use it just a little bit more. Thank you for your time, and hope this was helpful.